Hey everyone, in this video I go over three schools of thought when it comes to the topic of UFOs and aliens. We go over ET, interdimensional, and demonic, which includes the paranormal. And I go into how the occult secret societies built our space program and how it's all around us. I just want to let you know that most of this video is recorded with a chatbot, but I wrote it myself. Please be open-minded and look at the world around you as you watch this video, and hopefully enjoy the videos I stitched together for B-roll.
We live in an age where rockets touch the stars, where government officials admit that UFOs are real, and where ancient belief systems are re-emerging right under our noses. But beneath the headlines, beneath the satellites, lies a story most people have never heard. A story where science meets sorcery, where space programs were birthed in ritual magic, not just math, where the men who gave us modern rocketry were not just engineers. They were occultists. To understand how we got here, we have to go back. Not to Roswell. Not even to Nazi Germany. But to a man. A man who declared himself the Beast 666. Who said he was the prophet of a new aeon. And who opened doors to something else. His name was Aleister Crowley. Crowley wasn't just a magician. He was a British intelligence asset. A poet. A climber. A ritualist. And most importantly, a man obsessed with contacting non-human intelligences. In 1918, during a series of sex magic rituals called the Amalantra working, Crowley claimed to have contacted a being named Lamb. A gray, bulbous-headed entity that eerily resembles the alien greys reported decades later. He drew Lamb. And the image still chills people today. But Crowley wasn't done. He created a religion called Thelema. Its motto? Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. He taught that through ritual, sex magic, and personal transformation, humanity could ascend to godhood. To open portals. To evolve beyond this world. His teachings spread, but few understood their true power. One man did. His name was Jack Parsons. To the public, Parsons was a brilliant young scientist, co-founder of JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. A pioneer of American rocketry. Without him, there would be no NASA. But behind the scenes? He was a high-ranking occultist. A devoted follower of Crowley. And a man obsessed with bringing Thelemic ritual into the real world. He performed sex magic rituals in the Mojave Desert, seeking to manifest a moonchild, a divine being that would usher in a new age. He called these rituals the Babylon working. And with him during these rites was another man. A science fiction writer. A naval intelligence officer. And the future founder of a new religion. His name was L. Ron Hubbard. In 1946, in a Pasadena mansion not far from Caltech, something strange was happening. Jack Parsons, already known in elite scientific circles for his work in explosives and jet propulsion, had turned his home into a temple. Candles. Altars. Robes. Sex rites. Incantations. But this wasn't just for shock. It was a ritual with a purpose, to open a portal. Parsons believed he could summon an elemental goddess, a divine feminine spirit from beyond. The ritual was called the Babylon working, and its goal was the creation of a moonchild, a magical being that would initiate a new spiritual era on Earth. But Parsons wasn't alone in this effort. By his side was a man who'd go on to create one of the most controversial belief systems of the 20th century, L. Ron Hubbard. At the time, Hubbard was a charismatic sci-fi writer and a former officer in U.S. naval intelligence. He had a natural gift for storytelling and manipulation. He joined Parsons in the Babylon working as the scribe, recording the rituals, channeling energies, and helping interpret the psychic messages they believed were coming through. And according to Parsons' own letters, something did come through. Shortly after, Parsons claimed to have met a red-haired woman who matched the exact description of the goddess he'd invoked. He believed the ritual had worked. That they'd torn a hole in the veil. But Hubbard had other plans. Not long after the rituals, he took off with Parsons' money, his boat, and, some say, his magical secrets. By 1950, Hubbard had published Dianetics, and a few years later, he founded the Church of Scientology. To the public, Scientology was a self-help movement. A system to clear the mind of trauma and unlock human potential. But beneath the surface, it carried heavy occult influence. Many of Scientology's rituals, concepts, and language mirror Thelemic and Masonic systems. The idea of clearing the self, of moving through spiritual grades called operating Phaeton levels, and of accessing knowledge forbidden to outsiders, these are not just psychological techniques. They're initiatory rites. And then there's the aliens. According to high-level Scientology texts, which the Church claims are metaphorical, but which insiders say are taken seriously. Earth was once a prison planet, overseen by a galactic overlord named Xenu. Our souls were trapped, implanted with false memories, and recycled in a cycle of spiritual amnesia. Sound familiar? This cosmology blends Gnosticism, ancient astronaut theory, and science fiction, all filtered through the lens of ritual magic and trauma manipulation. Hubbard didn't just create a new religion. He created a spiritual intelligence operation. One that drew in celebrities, infiltrated the U.S. government, and allegedly worked hand-in-hand with agencies like the CIA during its early years. There are even declassified documents suggesting that elements of Scientology's practices were of interest to MKUltra researchers, who were themselves exploring ways to access non-ordinary states of consciousness and contact non-human entities. Scientology's deep ties to Hollywood are no coincidence. From the 1950s onward, Scientology aggressively courted actors, directors, and musicians, promising spiritual freedom and success. Famous converts include Tom Cruise, John Travolta, Elizabeth Moss, and many others. Behind the glitz, former members describe a darker reality. Control, surveillance, and psychological manipulation, not unlike what one might expect from a secret intelligence operation disguised as a religion. Hollywood's entertainment is filled with occult symbolism, the all-seeing eye, pyramids, pentagrams, checkerboard floors, woven into pop culture to subtly condition audiences. Celebrities linked to Scientology often act as public vessels for these rituals and symbols. Tom Cruise's infamous couch-jumping moment at the 2012 Oscars was widely interpreted as a ritualistic signal, a form of occult performance. Many blockbuster movies and music videos embed coded messages aligning with occult and UFO themes, preparing the public to accept interdimensional and extraterrestrial realities. This is not just entertainment. It's mass conditioning embedded with ritual magic. While the Allies fought World War II on the surface, a far darker battle was unfolding beneath. Deep inside Nazi Germany, a secret society worked to unlock hidden powers, blending occult mysticism, advanced physics, and extraterrestrial contact. They called themselves the Vril Society. The Vril Society traced its roots to 19th-century science fiction, inspired by The Coming Race by Edward Bulwer Lytton. The book described a subterranean race possessing a mysterious energy called Vril, a force of unlimited power, capable of healing or destruction. The Nazis took this idea seriously. Members of the Vril Society believed they were descendants of an ancient Aryan race, connected to extraterrestrial beings from the star Aldebaran. Their mission? To harness Vril energy and contact these superior beings. Here, the story intersects with the UFO phenomenon itself. The so-called Nordic aliens, tall, blonde, blue-eyed humanoid beings, perfectly mirror the Nazis' own Aryan ideal. Reports of encounters with Nordic aliens began shortly after World War II, coinciding with Nazi occult experiments. Some researchers believe the Nordic aliens are either inspired by, or are a manifestation of, this deeply ingrained Nazi racial mythology, a projection of their twisted dream for a master race that transcended humanity. The society combined intense channeling sessions, meditation, and experiments with cutting-edge technology, including early prototypes of flying discs, often called the Nazi flying saucers. These craft allegedly used anti-gravity propulsion, far ahead of anything seen elsewhere. The Nazis were obsessed with the occult, especially the Thule Society, another secret group whose members included some of the top SS officers. They believed in a cosmic struggle between light and darkness, and that through ritual and technology, they could usher in a new world order. As World War II drew to a close, many of these occult scientists and engineers were brought to America in Operation Paperclip, a top-secret CIA program that recruited Nazi experts. Von Braun would go on to lead NASA's rocket program, developing the Saturn V rocket that took humans to the moon. But von Braun was no mere engineer. His diaries and letters reveal a man fascinated by occult symbolism and ritual. He surrounded himself with Masonic and esoteric imagery, and some historians argue that the rocket launches themselves were, in part, modern rituals, attempts to touch the divine or contact otherworldly realms. Among the many secrets of Nazi occult technology lies one of the most enigmatic and controversial devices ever whispered about, Die Glock, the Nazi bell. According to eyewitness testimonies and declassified files, the bell was a large, bell-shaped machine developed in a hidden facility near Wenceslas, Czechoslovakia. But it was no ordinary bell. Researchers claim Die Glock was an experimental device designed to generate or manipulate exotic energy fields, possibly an anti-gravity engine, a time machine, or even a portal to other dimensions. Descriptions say the bell contained two counter-rotating cylinders filled with a mysterious violet liquid, nicknamed Zerum 525. This substance was reportedly highly radioactive and emitted strange electromagnetic effects. Those who witnessed the bell's operation reported bizarre side effects, from severe illness and hair loss to disorientation and temporal anomalies. What makes Die Glock so fascinating is its alleged connection to Nazi occult rituals. Some historians suggest the bell was not just a machine, but a magical device, built to harness Vril energy and open gateways to other worlds or times. The Nazis had long believed that science and the occult were two sides of the same coin. And the bell represented the apex of that belief, an attempt to merge technology with ritual, physics with magic. When the war ended, Die Glock's fate is shrouded in mystery. Some say it was destroyed by retreating Nazis. Others claim it was seized by Allied forces and secretly studied by American scientists. Whether myth or reality, Die Glock remains a symbol of how far the Nazi regime was willing to go, mixing dark ritual, forbidden science, and the quest for ultimate power. The secret Nazi experiments, the Vril energy theories, and the occult underpinnings of the Third Reich didn't vanish with the war. They were brought to America, hidden inside government programs, and folded into the space race, where science, magic, and power became inseparable. And it's from this tangled web of occultism and technology that many believe the modern UFO phenomenon emerged. The flying saucers reported after the war may have been inspired not by aliens, but by secret Nazi craft, prototypes powered by anti-gravity and hidden energy. So when you hear about top-secret military programs and mysterious flying objects, remember. This is a story that goes back decades, to ancient occult societies, to secret Nazi technologies, and to the men who built America's path to the stars. There's another thread woven deep into this hidden history, one that connects NASA, the Pentagon, Hollywood, and even ancient spiritual traditions. It's quiet, symbolic, ritualistic, and it's everywhere. Freemasonry. From the founding of the United States to the layout of Washington, D.C., Freemasonry has been a silent force behind power, politics, and secret knowledge. Many of the country's founding fathers, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and others, were high-ranking Masons, embedding their ideals and symbols into America's foundation. Freemasonry is built on ancient mystery traditions, initiation rituals, oaths, secret handshakes, sacred geometry, and the idea of spiritual and moral ascension through degrees. The symbols are everywhere. The all-seeing eye, perched atop an unfinished pyramid. A symbol you'll recognize on the US dollar bill. The checkerboard floor, representing duality, light and dark, good and evil. The compass and square, symbolizing the balance between spiritual and earthly power. Aleister Crowley himself was a Freemason before founding his own occult order, the Ordo Templi Orientis. His work drew deeply from Masonic rituals, blending them with sex magic and Thelemic philosophy. The Church of Scientology's founder, L. Ron Hubbard, borrowed Masonic organizational structures, ritual formats, and initiation grades to create his own hierarchical system. NASA's early astronauts were often Freemasons, including legends like Buzz Aldrin and John Glenn. Many space missions featured symbolic acts, planting flags with Masonic emblems, performing secret handshakes, and conducting rituals that echo centuries-old traditions. Some researchers argue that rocket launches and moon landings themselves function as modern rituals. Public ceremonies meant to harness symbolic power and connect humanity with cosmic forces. But Freemasonry's influence stretches beyond science and government. Hollywood's obsession with Masonic symbolism is well documented. Films and music videos are filled with hidden symbols, pyramids, eyes, pentagrams, embedded subtly to condition audiences. Celebrities often wear Masonic or occult-inspired jewelry, perform choreographed dances mimicking ritual possession, and reference secret societies in their lyrics. Freemasonry teaches that light is the ultimate truth, but critics argue it's Luciferian light, knowledge gained through rebellion, ritual, and self-deification, rather than divine grace. In this worldview, man becomes God by opening secret doors, through initiation, ritual, and transgression. This ideology, of becoming godlike, of ascending beyond human limitations, runs like a thread through Crowley's Thelema, Parsons' rituals, Scientology's operating Phaeton levels, and even the government's secret UFO programs. Freemasonry, Thelema, Scientology, and the hidden history of the space age are not isolated stories. They are chapters of the same hidden narrative, humanity's attempt to pierce the veil, to unlock forbidden knowledge, and to become gods themselves. But what did we open the door to? Are these forces alien? Interdimensional? Demonic? Next, we'll explore the three major schools of thought on UFOs and their deeper spiritual implications: the extraterrestrial, the interdimensional, and the demonic. UFOs have fascinated humanity for decades, inspiring everything from government investigations to blockbuster films. But beneath the surface of this modern mystery lie three major ways people try to make sense of the unknown. The first is the extraterrestrial hypothesis, the idea that these flying objects are spacecraft piloted by beings from other planets or star systems. This is the most popular view in mainstream culture. But the second is far less discussed. The interdimensional hypothesis. This theory suggests that UFOs aren't from other planets, but from parallel dimensions or realities that occasionally overlap with our own. These entities are not bound by our physics or time, slipping in and out of view like phantoms. The third camp is the most unsettling. The demonic hypothesis. It proposes that many UFOs and their occupants are actually malevolent spiritual entities, demons or fallen angels, who manipulate perception, sow confusion, and feed off human fear and suffering. This last view is not just fringe speculation. As far back as the 1940s, high-ranking officials in the Pentagon and military intelligence have expressed concern that UFO phenomena might be connected to demonic forces. One anonymous Pentagon source famously remarked, "We don't talk about it openly, but many of us believe these things are not from this world, and worse than that, they're dangerous. We think they're demonic." Documents and testimonies suggest that the military's reluctance to engage with UFOs publicly was partly due to fear of these spiritual implications. And today, some Pentagon officials still steer clear of discussing UFOs for the same reasons: the fear that these phenomena may be manifestations of a spiritual war happening beyond human perception. This brings us full circle. The occultists, secret societies, and shadowy government programs all point to the idea that humanity is caught in a cosmic battle. A battle between light and darkness, spirit and matter, truth and deception. So when we see reports of mysterious craft, unexplained disappearances, and strange beings, we must ask: are these visitors curious explorers? Are they beings from a parallel dimension slipping through the veil? Or are they dark forces, using technology and illusion to deceive and manipulate? The answer may not be simple. But what is clear is that the story of UFOs is deeply intertwined with the occult, with ancient ritual, secret societies, and the human quest for forbidden knowledge. And as the veil continues to thin, humanity stands at a crossroads. Will we open the door to light or to darkness? We've journeyed through a hidden history, from Aleister Crowley's dark rituals, to Jack Parsons' moonchild ceremonies, to the rise of Scientology and its Hollywood ties, to the Nazi Vril Society's occult experiments, to Freemasonry's silent hand guiding the space age, and the three great theories trying to explain UFOs. What emerges is a story far beyond rockets and government secrets. It is a spiritual war. A battle for control over belief, perception, and the very soul of humanity. The occultists who opened portals, the secret societies who hide in shadows, the scientists who blurred the line between magic and technology, all sought to unlock forbidden knowledge. To become gods themselves. But the question remains. At what cost? Throughout history, every time humanity reached too far into the unknown, into realms best left closed, suffering followed. Wars. Divisions. Fear. Pain. And today, as governments disclose UFO information and the veil between worlds thins, the stakes have never been higher. Are these entities here to help us evolve, or to feed on our fear and chaos? Is this the dawning of a new age, or the last stand before darkness? The choice is ours. Will we seek the light, through truth, humility, and faith? Or will we be seduced by the promise of power and secret knowledge, and fall into deception? The ancient texts, the secret rituals, and the warnings from history all point to the same truth. There are doors we were never meant to open lightly. So as you watch the skies, listen closely to your heart. Ask yourself, what do I believe? Who do I serve? And what world do I want to build? The story of UFOs and the occult is still being written. And the next chapter depends on us.
Hey everyone, it's me, Fan, at Let's Talk Aliens. I just wanted to let you all know that I put a lot of work into this, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch it. So please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.